So I'm a physical therapist and I work in pediatrics. So some clinics are just adults, some clinics are just kids, some are a mix. I work at a clinic that only sees children. So I see kids as young as 4 months and up to my oldest is like 16. It's a lot of kids with disabilities. It's a lot of babies. It's a lot of teenagers with sports injuries and everything sort of in between that. And right now I work at IV Rehab for Kids, and that is a chain. So they have a lot of locations all over the place. And at my clinic, there are physical therapists, there are occupational therapists, and speech therapists. So in that bottom left is a picture of everyone who works in my office. The occupational therapists focus more on fine motor skills. So they do a lot of things with their hands. So they do a lot of practicing handwriting with the kids, practicing learning how to use zippers and button buttons, things like that. Physical therapy is a lot more gross motor skills. So we practice going up and down stairs. In this video, this is a 2-year-old that I work with. He has autism, so he's a little bit delayed. And there are certain milestones kids should meet by certain ages. So by 2 years old, you should be able to jump by yourself. And that indicates, strength, balance, things that are needed to safely navigate their environment without falling so that they can keep up with their same age peers during play and things like that. So that's why that's important. So that's one of his goals that we're working on there. And that was the first time that he jumped. I'm helping him a little bit. I'm holding his hands, but that was the first time he did it by himself, which was very exciting.
Oh, that's
Um,
awesome. So it sounds like there's a lot of variety in physical therapists working from young as babies all the way up to adults. So that's really awesome that you can choose the different age ranges. So how did you choose physical therapy as a career path?
When I was in high school and even like early college, I knew I wanted to do something in healthcare. And towards the end of high school and my first summer after college, I shadowed in a hospital a little bit. So I got to see a little bit of everything. I saw the doctors, I saw nurses, I saw PTs, OTs, all kinds of different healthcare professions. And my takeaway from that was just like I got to see everything in person. And I was like, I don't think being a doctor is for me. It feels more like the doctors are kind of in and out of the rooms a lot, not spending as much time with the patients. It really seemed like it was more the nurses, the physical therapists, the occupational therapists, and the speech therapists who get to spend the most one-on-one time with patients. And that's more what I was looking for. So then I started shadowing in a pediatric clinic, kind of like this one that I work at now. And I was shadowing the PTs, the OTs, and the speech therapists. And I was kind of drawn to PT the most. So that's kind of how I decided on that.
That's awesome. So it sounds like when students, if they have the opportunity to job shadow, that's a big piece to really kind of see, in real time if that's a career that you're drawn to. So that's great that you had that experience to help lead you to the path where you're on. What education or training is required for this career?
So physical therapy is now a doctorate degree. So first you go to undergraduate. I got my degree in biology. You can get your undergraduate degree in anything that you'd like. You just have to have certain classes that you've taken, like includes biology, chemistry, physics, anatomy, and psychology, I think are the big ones. So as long as you take those classes in undergrad, that's what matters. The major can be in anything you want, just with the biology major, that kind of is all covered in that anyway. So it made the most sense to me. And then my doctorate program was 2.5 years. So after that, it's a doctorate in physical therapy.
Wow, so it's a lot of education involved with this career.
Yes, definitely. Less than being a doctor also, which is a big thing for me when I was considering different careers,
Yeah, that's awesome.
which was
Are there specific certifications that helped you get started or stand out that you think would be important to share?
No, not really, besides the degrees. There are certifications you can get once you are a physical therapist in a lot of different things. I don't have any currently, but I know a couple of my friends have like a strength and conditioning certification and things like that. So there definitely are some, but not necessary to get a job in PT.
That's great to know. What skills or personal qualities have been the most important for success in your field?
I think especially working with children, patience and creativity.
Mm.
You could go into a session with a plan, and the kid might not want to do that that day, or they might be having an off day, or if it's a child with special needs, they might be having a day that they're very dysregulated. So you kind of have to pivot on the fly, which I kind of like. No day is the same. I never get bored. So just being creative and thinking about, oh, well, if this is too hard for them, or if they're being avoidant of this activity, how can I get them to work the same muscles and work the same skill using a different activity?
Oh, that's great. I love creativity, patience, flexibility. That's key, especially with those young ones for sure, and helps make it not monotonous day to day. So, students, we want you to know that on Tallo.com, you can take a career interest assessment that shows how your interests are connected to potential careers. And Tallo does this by aligning each career with different personality types. Okay, moving right along. So, we know a lot of people asks, what will I make? Right? That's an important piece of choosing a career. And you can actually find this information by going to tallo.com and checking out our career navigator. Now, based on our career navigator, the median US salary for a physical therapist is around 94,000 a year. Your pay can be higher or lower with location, experience, and industry. Natalie, would you say this pretty much aligns with your experience and where you live?
Yes, definitely. I would agree. And I think you mentioned this class was the students are from California. Um, so just to throw out an example, one of my friends from physical therapy school, she's from California and she works there now. And her entry level job, she started at 100,000 right when
Wow.
she got out of school. So
Right when you got out, that's
just to
awesome.
give a California example.
That's wonderful. That's so great. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, for sure.
What opportunities for growth or advancement exist in your field?
To give the example of my clinic specifically, with IV rehab, I'm a physical therapist right now. There's a clinic director who's sort of the boss of our clinic. Above her is the area director, and then above her is the regional director. So there's a lot of room for growth. And as you sort of climb that ladder, you'll be seeing less patients and doing more administrative work. But if that's something you're interested in, starting out seeing patients and then sort of switching to maybe half time seeing patients, half the time doing administrative work, those are examples of area of growth in physical therapy in my clinic.
Oh, that's great. It's great to know that there's opportunities for advancement in the physical therapy field, and great that you can even do both if you're interested, part-time therapist and part-time administrative. All right, more questions for you, Natalie. What was your biggest misconception about this career before you started working in it?
I'd say when I first started shadowing, I was just shadowing in an adult clinic, and I
Mhm.
was like, oh, this is kind of boring. I'm just giving them, which some people love working with adults. I felt like it was less of a good fit for me. I was like, I feel like it's kind of boring. The same day, you're just giving them their exercises. I didn't really know you could work with different patient populations until that was sort of presented to me. So you can work in a number of different areas in PT. You can work with athletes in an outpatient clinic. You can work in a hospital with patients pre and post surgery to make sure they're prepared for the surgery. You can work in a school with kids, which is something that I did before this job as well. You can work in an outpatient clinic with kids like I do. So I guess my misconception was that it was all just one area. You can work in a lot of different settings with a lot of different types of patients.
That's awesome to hear. It's always nice to choose a career that has many different branches on the tree to find the best fit that connects and resonates with you the most. So thank you for sharing that. Natalie, what would you say is the most challenging part of your job and how do you handle that?
I would say most challenging, it's most challenging working with kids with special needs who are nonverbal, I think, because
Mm,
it's hard to know what their experience is. Because a lot of times when you're doing physical therapy with people, you're asking, how does this feel? Is this too easy for you? Is this too hard for you? And you're making decisions based on their response. If they're not giving you a response, or even if they are verbal and it's hard for them to articulate how things are feeling, you have to use a lot of sort of intuition and trial and error. So sometimes if I'm giving kids things that are too difficult for them, it's sometimes hard to tell if it's too hard or if they just don't want to do it. So then it's trying it with a motivating factor. Like once we get our work done, then we can play with this toy that you love so much and seeing if that changes it. And then if they're still not able to do it, it might be a little too difficult for them. So we might have to regress the exercise a little bit. So working with kids with disabilities, but also just kids in general, it's a little bit hard for them to articulate how they're feeling. So just that trial and error to try and make sure that the treatment plan is a good fit for them.
And I bet it's so satisfying when you find that communication piece that works with them, right? When you
Definitely.
make that connection.
Yes, once you, and with kids, oftentimes too, it's not with adults, sometimes they're in and out of physical therapy within 6 weeks. A lot of my patients I've been working with for over a year. So you're really building these relationships with
Wow.
them. The kids like start to trust you more, they get closer
Yeah.
to you, which is really nice. And it makes it easier to accomplish their goals in PT once you get to know them better.
Oh, that's awesome. How do you maintain your work-life balance in your profession?
I try to make sure that I have hobbies outside of work, so that I have something organized to do when I'm not at work, either when I get home from work, on the weekends, and things like that. So, like I mentioned before, I love to run and I love to cook, and I love to do that with my sister and some of my friends. So, I think it's important to make time for your hobbies, and I think it's important to have someone to do it with too, because then that sort of holds you accountable. If you have a plan to do with someone else, it's like, oh, well, I can't just put this on the back burner. It's something I have to show up to. It's important.
Awesome. And it sounds like your career allows you to have a pretty good work-life balance.
For sure. Yeah. I know some people like come home and are doing work after hours. I'm never ever doing work at home. It's strictly at work.
Yeah, that's a good work-life balance. How has your industry changed since you started, or where do you see it heading in the future?
Not too much, I think, has changed since I started. I've been working in the field, including my clinical experiences, for about 5 years, so not much has changed tremendously. I think the biggest thing that's changing is just the way they're doing documentation. So you have to write up a note for each session that you work with a child. It used to be all handwritten, now things are changing to electronic. And when you're doing it electronically, there's a lot of templates and things like that in the electronic system that make it a little bit quicker to go through. They make it a little bit more efficient with documentation.
Oh, awesome. Technology's great when it works well.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah. And so we have one really important question here. If you could go back in time and give career advice to your middle or high school self, what would you say?
Oh, that is a good
Mm.
question. I think the biggest thing I would say would be to get out and shadow whenever you can, whoever you can. Like I was saying, I knew I wanted to do something in healthcare, but I didn't really know what, and I didn't know the specifics of what every job entailed. And then when I saw it in person, it was a lot different than what I expected it to be. So the best way to know if you'll like something or not is to just get in that setting and see it in person. I think that was the biggest thing. I wish I didn't wait until college to start doing that.
Oh, that's a great point. Thank you so much for sharing that. Getting in and seeing that real life, it could change your whole trajectory.
Big time.
Yeah. One of them is, what university would you recommend for healthcare?
Oh, good question. I mean, there's a ton for undergrad at least. So many schools offer biology. That's a pretty safe one that most schools will offer if that's what you're interested in. I know a lot of people major in kinesiology too that want to go into physical therapy. That one is a bit more specific. So if that's what you're leaning toward, you might have to do a little bit more research. But if you go the biology route, that's a pretty safe option that's at almost all schools. And then for grad school, like for my physical therapy school, I went to Drexel University in Philadelphia, which I loved. I thought that was a really well-established program. They had great connections all over the city. They had great clinical rotations. So just in my experience, that's where I went and I really enjoyed it. For undergrad, I think you have a lot of options. Most schools offer biology as a path of study.
Yeah. So would you recommend students like do some research and type in like what they're interested in a specific healthcare field and see what they universities pop up?
Definitely. Yes. I remember when I was in high school, I can't remember the name of it, but there are those websites where you can filter out what colleges that you're interested in and things like that, and just making sure that they have a program that you're interested in, whether that
Awesome.
be biology or kinesiology or something under that umbrella.
Great. And we have one other question. What advice can you offer students applying to college, who plan to pursue a pre-nursing major, you know.
Pre-nursing. So nursing is actually a bachelor's degree. So a lot of schools offer that as well. So it would be more just making sure that the college you have has a nursing program. And if you wanted to stop at a bachelor's degree, that is all you need to practice nursing. There are also a bunch of master's programs that are optional, but you can be more specified. I know if you get a master's in like being a nurse practitioner or a nurse administrator, that's an option too. But the difference between that and physical therapy, I'd say that is physical therapy, you have to go to grad school to practice. Nursing, you do not have to go to grad school. You only need a bachelor's.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that distinction with us.
Yeah, of course.
Natalie, thank you so much for sharing your experiences and knowledge with us today. Hopefully, our Tallo talent picked up some insights that surprised or sparked something new. To the students who joined us today, if you have any more questions about this career, you can explore our healthcare career paths and hub at tallo.com. And remember, everyone's path is going to be different, but that's what makes it yours. Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and remember, there's no single right way to build a career. We'll be back next time with another completely different story from a totally different field because the more paths you see, the more possibilities you'll discover for yourself.